I'm Cheryl Bergstaller. I used to be a math teacher. I used to be a technology teacher. My students were in middle school, high school, college, and online. In all these settings, I've experienced the challenge of connecting to all of my students. Today, I'm the director of Do It at the University of Washington. Do It stands for Disabilities, Opportunities, Internetworking, and Technology. Do It serves to increase the success of people with disabilities in education and careers. We have ideas for you on how to reach every student in your classroom.
We're filling it about halfway up.
At every academic level, there are students with a variety of backgrounds, interests, abilities, and disabilities. Some learn best visually. Others are auditory learners. Maybe English isn't their first language. Or perhaps a student has a physical, sensory, or learning disability. The challenge is to maximize learning for everyone in the class. Universal design can help you do that.
Well, I think that really the whole notion of universal design is really an exciting concept, that it really allows a professor to really explore a lot of different methods of teaching and instructing.
And one method does not fit all students. Traditionally, we've always used the oral method of teaching, but universal design offers us other avenues, more options. Therefore, we can reach more students.
Universal design isn't new. It's been applied in building construction for many years. Doors with sensors, open for everyone, regardless of their size, their ability to walk, their strength, and an armload of books. In education, universal design means instructors anticipate student needs rather than simply react to them.
I try to teach to all different ability levels, all different interest level, and so showing the caption videos, having discussion groups, finding different ways to really capture their knowledge and kind of breaking out of that traditional mold that I think we've come accustomed to sometimes in higher education.
Universal design of instruction strives to make the environment, teaching methods, curriculum materials, and all other aspects of instruction accessible to all students without the need for adaptation or specialized design. The goal is to maximize the learning for everyone.
Good teaching is good teaching. And if you use really good strategies, it really benefits everybody in the class, not just the students with disabilities.
Universal design can be looked at as a process in which teachers proactively plan for students with diverse characteristics, or as a set of strategies for inclusive curriculum and instruction.
Not knowing who you have as an audience, what their level of preparation might be, what their life experience is, what their cultural background might be. When you present materials in a variety of different formats, you're going to reach as many individuals as you can and assist them to be successful.
Universal design of instruction can be applied to lectures, discussions, visual aids, video presentations, printed materials, labs, and fieldwork.
That is awesome.
And again, it improves instruction for everyone in the class.
Bang.
A really great professor to me is someone who is obviously engaged when in class. You can always tell because they face the class when they're talking. They make eye contact with specific students. They'll make comments about coming to see them at office hours. And you can really tell that they are interested in your learning and interested in you getting something out of the class.
Flexibility is key. Select curriculum materials that can be accessed in more than one way. Use a variety of methods for teaching content, and offer alternative ways to participate in class activities. These examples apply universal design. Class climate. Adopt practices that reflect high values with respect to both diversity and inclusiveness. On your syllabus, invite students to discuss disability-related accommodations and other learning issues with you.
I might put on my course syllabus if you have questions or concerns that I could assist you with in regards to the class itself to come and see me. And what that does is it allows any student who has an issue that needs to be addressed to be taken care of.
Physical access, usability, and safety. Make classrooms, labs, and fieldwork accessible and safe for students with a wide range of abilities. Be sure that equipment and activities have options for operation to accommodate students with different physical abilities. Delivery methods. Use multiple methods, including lectures, discussion, hands-on activities, internet-based interaction, and fieldwork.
When I'm in the classroom, I'm looking at each student as an individual. So I might use audio, visual, and kinesthetic methods to get across the information I want to share with my students. So rather than just look at one learning style, I try to diversify to include and encompass a variety of methods to help all of my students learn.
Face the class and speak clearly. Provide printed materials and electronic resources summarizing or outlining lecture content.
What I find helpful is when a professor hands out an outline or some kind of summary of what he's going to talk about, either daily or weekly, because I find that when taking notes, it's kind of hard to listen to what they're saying at the same time and still get the level of detail and the level of information that you want in your notes.
Information resources. Use captioned videos. Make printed material available in electronic format.
One of the suggestions that was made was to create some documents of my course in alternative format. And I was concerned about doing that because I'd have to prepare my lectures ahead of time to put it in alternative format. So at the beginning I was frustrated because I thought it would be difficult for me to coordinate my coursework up front, put it online, and at the time I was thinking it was really for a few students who may need that as an accommodation. In the end, it benefited me. I was prepared for the coursework, and the students actually in all of the courses commented at the end of the semester that it was beneficial to them.
Give text descriptions of graphic images on the web. Use simple and consistent formats for printed and web-based materials. Provide materials early to allow students to prepare.
What I found is that when professors were well prepared, when they thought about different ways of presenting the information, different ways of explaining the information, when they think through that process and come in the classroom ready to teach, that I learned more.
Interaction. Encourage a variety of ways for students to interact with each other and with you. Examples include in-class questions and discussion, group work, one-on-one meetings, and email.
I use my computer to design my course, to put my material in electronic format, to put my outline or my lecture notes online, and then that way my students can get access to that whenever they need the material. I don't have to make copies to hand out that way.
Feedback. Provide feedback periodically as an assignment is being completed. Assessment. Set clear expectations. Provide multiple ways to demonstrate knowledge. Examples include group work, demonstrations, portfolios, presentations, and traditional tests. Tests should include questions that require a variety of responses, such as multiple choice and essay.
So what you say is,
of course, there are still going to be times when you'll need to provide accommodations, such as a sign language interpreter for a student who is deaf. But applying universal design will minimize the need for these accommodations.
One can do some very generic things that will work most of the time. For example, making sure that your class lectures are in some accessible form, like electronic form, for example. Very simple things like that. And I think most of us do that nowadays anyway in the electronic age, after all. One thing maybe I should do is we'll do kind of a test with this image.
Universal design is measured on a continuum. A first step could be getting course materials on a website. The ideal is to make sure those notes are presented in a universally accessible way.
Although it might take a faculty member a lot of extra time to create the materials that they want to teach in their classroom through universal design, once they do it, it's done. And then their planning time and their execution time will be minimal in the future.
Outside the classroom, universal design can be applied to tutoring and learning centers. And the same principles apply. Make sure students can get to your facility and maneuver within it. Once inside, all students should be able to access printed and electronic resources and be able to participate in all learning activities.
We want to make it accessible for all students who want to study in our centers.
Assure comfort for everyone, including such details as adjustable lighting, window shades, quiet work areas, and clear signage. Be prepared to teach students with a variety of disabilities and learning styles. Train staff in how to handle requests for accommodations.
Anytime a student should come in and express a need that they have, we definitely address their need and find out how it is that we can best assist them.
Design websites to be accessible to people with disabilities. Make sure staff members are familiar with accessibility features that are built into standard computers. Have commonly used assistive technology available and add new technology as students request it. Universally designed instruction makes everyone feel welcome and fully included in the learning process. It assures access to course content and learning activities for all students. We have more information on the universal design of instruction. Our goal is to help you make your curriculum accessible to students with disabilities. By doing that, you'll make your instruction better for everyone. For more information, contact Do It. World Wide Web, www.washington.edu/DOIT. Phone, voice or TTY, area code 206-685-DOIT. Address, Do It, University of Washington, Box 355-670, Seattle, Washington, 98195, 5670. Director, Cheryl Bergstaller. The content of this video was developed with funding from the U.S. Department of Education. Grant number P333A020044. However, the content does not necessarily represent the policy of the Department of Education, and you should not assume the endorsement of the federal government. Copyright 2006, University of Washington. In an information society, brain power is more important than physical capabilities.
Students with disability, I believe, have been largely ignored by the scientists and the scientific professions.
The Americans with Disabilities Act sends a clear message that employers and schools cannot discriminate on the basis of disability. They need to include people with disabilities in all their academic programs and career opportunities.
This requires ability and a willingness and the open willingness of the university faculty, the administration, and staff to make those people welcome.
I feel
I think attitude is the key.
The assumption is it's going to take a lot of time and they're never going to make it.
There were some people who were concerned, how would I get notes off the board, and how would I deal with statistics, and how would I do all the reading and the research and this sort of thing.
I could not understand how it could happen that a student who's visually impaired could understand statistics. I can only see statistics visually on a chalkboard.
I must confess I had similar misgivings about having students with disabilities in science laboratories or even in other teaching and learning situations.
I didn't really think about it until I was in the situation, and then you begin to say, okay, what things do you need to do
to alter the learning environment.
Computer and network technology is very important in the science, engineering, and mathematics field and becomes more important every year. And this isn't a surprise to most people, but what is a surprise is that because these fields have moved to using more and more technology, they actually have become more accessible to people who have disabilities. And once they have the access problem solved, then they can use all the powerful tools that other people are using in those fields.
The great equalizer. Almost anybody can do things equally well on the computers regardless of disabilities, provided they have just the right software or just knowledge.
The technology that's available today really can open up just a tremendous world to students with disabilities, and I can speak particularly of students with visual impairment. There's speech access now on computers, there's Braille access. For students who have low vision, there's large print access. There's the ability to get online on campus through the internet system and do online research.
For people with learning disabilities, sometimes simply using a computer system and standard software can be a wonderful accommodation. For someone who has difficulty reading or writing, if they can access the information on the computer, they can use voice output so that the screen can be read to them.
Welcome to the Oxford English Dictionary, left paren, blue MD edition, right paren. Search for...
I've seen a variety of input devices, from sticks that were you sort of hunt and peck on the keyboard to a blow straw where you blow in Morse code.
Technology for people because it's the only way that most of them can use computers.
The most important thing is just to be flexible. Different students having different strengths, different ways of learning. Some are orally oriented, other ones are visually oriented, others are task oriented, have to do things. And the good teacher is a teacher that mixes up the lesson in such a way that each lesson plan has all three or more different ways of learning involved in the lesson plan, so it reaches out to all students.
Knowledge is power, and that the more that the professor and the student can learn about working together, the easier it will be.
With Wendy, a very effective way, for example, was when we were passing manuscripts back for dissertation proposals or dissertation for articles, and that is that she would hand me the information on a disk. I would work on it on my computer, and I would mark the changes with certain symbols back on her program, so that when I gave it back to her, she could listen to it on her voice processor and know where the changes were. It was a lot more efficient than me handing her a print copy, which she then had to scan into her computer and print out as Braille.
I became deaf as an adult, so a lot of it really was new for me. I had not ever experienced using a modem and email. And in fact, on my committee, one of the members was very frustrated trying to set up meetings, interpreters, and he said, "Have you ever heard of email?" And he introduced me to it. And from that point on, that's how he and I had our committee meetings. Our individual meetings was through email.
If you're encountering a disabled student in your classroom for the first time, go to that student and be open about that. And just say, I've never had a disabled student in my classroom before. I don't really know what my role is in your accommodation, if any. Can you explain to me how you are going to do these various tasks, and what do I need to be aware of?
The students have got to be clear about needs, and their requests have to be respected. I feel very strongly about that. I always appreciated when a professor asked me what I needed, did not make the assumption that they knew what I needed, and then heard me and respected and tried to flex.
I knew when I applied that it would be a lot of work on my part, just like it is for any graduate student, but that I had ways that I could do it. and that the ways that I knew I could do it were ways that I had taken a lot of time to figure out, and so it wasn't likely that other people would know exactly what those ways were without me explaining it to them.
My teaching has really grown tremendously and become richer because I've thought more about how I teach and impart information.
The students that are challenged have taught me a lot, and mostly what they've taught me about is different ways of perceiving the world. They perceive information differently than I, but we have the same outcomes, the same outcome in terms of learning process.
The bottom line is to regard the person as an individual who will be contributing to his or her own education, who will be contributing to the university, as well as taking and learning from the university.
Keeping an open mind and working with disabled students is part and parcel of what the university is all about.
Know that the student is here because they have a brain, and to know that their need is to connect with that mind, and they need to get beyond whatever the body is, whatever the difference is, and get to the mind. It's their job, and it needs to be actually their pleasure.
Do It receives a Golden Apple Award for Excellence in Education, January 2000.
The Do It program at the University of Washington has a simple goal: success for students with disabilities, through summer camp at the UW and online mentoring throughout the school year. Do It helps high school students learn to turn their dreams of college and careers into reality. For many of these young people, it's the first time they haven't felt different or alone.
Really,
when you find what you're looking for, you need to raise your hand, shout out for me or Cheryl.
There it is.
Oh, wow. Okay, you guys are fast. Do It stands for Disabilities, Opportunities, Internetworking, and Technology. And what Do It's about is helping young people with disabilities make a successful transition to college and ultimately to careers.
I'm loving every minute of it. It's really great. The heart surgery was the funnest, I think. I was like on a sheep. It was really nice.
We got a double bypass in progress here, huh?
I like to do brain surgery.
All right. This could be our lunch for today.
Well, in the Do It Scholars Program, we take 20 students per year. These are kids that have disabilities, that are in high school, that have the aptitude to complete a college education, but are facing significant challenges because of their disability.
I really enjoy all the college preparation, and being able to live on the college campus and in the dorms is a nice experience.
My particular injury is fairly severe. I can't use my hands at all, and being independent is something that's really important to me. And staying in the dorm, it really helps with, getting the mindset of being more independent.
There are a lot of areas in information technology where you might be able to apply your artistic skills or your writing skills. We provide them with a computer in their home and access to the internet. They communicate with their peers, and they also communicate with mentors who are individuals with disabilities who have been successful in college and careers and communicate over the internet.
Making friends is really big. And emailing, keeping in touch with them, that's great. I like that a lot. And having my computer for schoolwork, that's good. Very good.
Pedal it like this, but be careful of pulling back too hard.
It's a good experience because you get to meet people with other disabilities, and you really realize that no matter what your disability, you're all created equal in some aspect of it.
And you don't feel alone like you would in other situations.
Everybody wants to be friends with everybody. I really like that.
Supposing that we want to study stars, could we send a spacecraft to the stars?
By working with these young people and helping them reach higher levels of success than they might achieve otherwise, they become role models in their school and in their community, and many, many people are touched by the Do It program just by seeing the success of these kids with disabilities. Wow. I am once again reminded that I have the very best job in the state of Washington, perhaps in the United States. On behalf of the Do It staff and the volunteers and the mentors and the participants in our program and the advocates, I am truly honored to accept this award. Our shared vision is of a world where everyone has opportunities to participate and to contribute and to succeed, regardless of their abilities and disabilities. The success of our participants as they move on to college and they pursue careers and they contribute to their communities is the measure of success of the Do It program. The Do It participants are truly changing this world, and they're making it a better place for all of us. So thank you very much.
For more information, contact Do It on the World Wide Web, all in lowercase with no spaces, www.washington.edu/DOIT. Phone, voice or TTY, area code 206-685-DOIT. Address, Do It, University of Washington, Box 354842, Seattle, Washington, 98195-4842. Director Cheryl Bergstaller, Ph.D.